Hey guys, welcome back to Sportverse. Today we are talking about the biggest decision of the season so far, the FPL Gameweek 32 Wildcard. Because Gameweek 32 is not just a normal wildcard week. This wildcard can set you up perfectly for a massive Double Gameweek 33 and also the Blank Gameweek 34. So in this video, I'll break down the pros and cons of wildcarding in Gameweek 32, the best players to target, and I'll also show you 4 wildcard drafts depending on which chips you still have left. Let's get straight into it. So why is Gameweek 32 such a big wildcard window? The biggest reason is Double Gameweek 33. In Gameweek 33, we have 6 teams doubling: Manchester City, Burnley, Chelsea, Brighton, Leeds and Bournemouth. And here's the most important detail. These exact 6 teams are also expected to blank in Gameweek 34. So Gameweek 32 wildcard is all about one thing: planning your chips properly. Now let's start with the pros of wildcarding in Gameweek 32. Number 1. If you still have Wildcard, Bench Boost and Free Hit, this is the perfect time to attack. You wildcard in Gameweek 32, build a strong squad full of doublers, then Bench Boost in Gameweek 33 because you can easily get 13 or even 14 players with 2 fixtures. And after that you can Free Hit in Gameweek 34 when all these Double Gameweek teams blank. This strategy is probably the best possible chip combination left this season. Second big advantage is that there are only 7 game weeks remaining. Wildcarding now means you can play aggressive, chase rank and target fixture swings properly. And third, a lot of managers have made short-term moves in the last few weeks. Some sold Haaland, some loaded up on Liverpool, some went for Salah punts. Wildcard in Gameweek 32 is basically a reset button to fix your team. And finally, wildcarding now also lets you prepare for Arsenal's strong run-in fixtures and Crystal Palace assets who are likely to double later in Gameweek 36. Now wildcarding in Gameweek 32 is not perfect as well. There are a few problems. First problem, Arsenal do not double in Gameweek 33, and Arsenal are still one of the best teams in the league for clean sheets and defensive points. So if you wildcard too aggressively into doublers, you might end up removing Arsenal players that you'll want back immediately. Second issue, Manchester City play Chelsea in Gameweek 32, and on wildcard, most managers will have 3 City and 3 Chelsea players. That means 6 players playing each other. So if that match ends 1-0 or 0-0, your wildcard could instantly start with a red arrow. Third issue, the midfield options from these Double Gameweek teams are not very deep. Palmer is obvious, Bruno is great, but after that you're mostly looking at punts like Gross, Minte, Semenyo or Tavernier. And finally, defensive fixtures are tricky. Even in the double, many teams have at least one tough fixture, so don't expect clean sheet points to be guaranteed in Double Gameweek 33. Now, if you don't want to wildcard in Gameweek 32, there are other wildcard windows as well. One option is wildcarding in Gameweek 35 and bench boosting in Gameweek 36. Another option is wildcard in Gameweek 33, free hit in Gameweek 34, and bench boost in Gameweek 35 or 36. And for some managers, a free hit in Gameweek 33 and wildcard in Gameweek 34 could also work. But for managers with bench boost still available, Gameweek 32 wildcard is one of the most explosive strategies. Now let's talk about the key wildcard player targets for Gameweek 32. Starting with goalkeepers, the main options are Verbruggen, Petrovic and budget keepers like Darlow or Dubravka. In defence, we have Van Hecke, Hill, Senesi, Nico O'Reilly, Struijk, Biol and Chelsea defenders like Gusto, Cucurella or Fofana. And if Gabriel is fit, I still think he is essential for the run-in. In midfield, Palmer is basically locked. Then you have Bruno Fernandes, Gross, Semenyo, Minte as a punt and Tavernier as a decent mid-price option. And up front, Haaland is still the #1 pick. João Pedro is in amazing form, Welbeck is a great budget forward, Calvert-Lewin is also a strong option because he's on penalties, and Evanilson is another differential. Now let's move into the drafts. Draft number 1 is the best possible setup if you have all 3 chips. Wildcard in Gameweek 32, bench boost in Gameweek 33, and free hit in Gameweek 34. This draft focuses on maximizing doublers while still keeping a couple of key single game week players. In this draft, we keep Gabriel and Bruno Fernandes. Gabriel is still essential because Arsenal fixtures are too good to ignore, and Bruno is in brilliant form and could even be a captain option in Gameweek 32 against Leeds at home. From Manchester City, we go triple with Haaland, Nico O'Reilly and Semenyo. And from Brighton, we go with Verbruggen, Van Hecke and Gross. Van Hecke is a great DEFCON option, and Gross is a safe pick because he should start both games in Double Gameweek 33. We also take Bournemouth assets like Hill and Tavernier. Hill has insane defensive consistency this season, and Tavernier's underlying numbers have been very strong. For Chelsea, we go with Palmer and João Pedro. João Pedro has been in red-hot form, and Palmer is still the best Chelsea midfielder option on paper. And finally from Leeds, we go triple with Darlow, Bijol and Calvert-Lewin. DCL is on penalties and offers great value for his price. This draft gives you a huge bench boost in Double Gameweek 33, and then you can free hit in Gameweek 34 without worrying about blanks. Draft number 2 is a similar setup, but slightly more balanced for the long term. In this version, we bring in Sarr from Crystal Palace to prepare for their likely double later in Gameweek 36. We also go Welbeck instead of Calvert-Lewin, and we include Cherki as a midfield punt. This draft still gives you 12 doublers for Double Gameweek 33, but it keeps you better prepared for the final stretch of the season. Draft number 3 is for managers who do not have bench boost left. In this case, you don't need to go all in on 13 or 14 doublers. You can wildcard in Gameweek 32, target around 9 doublers for Double Gameweek 33, and then free hit in Gameweek 34. This strategy gives you more flexibility to keep Arsenal players and also build towards Crystal Palace for Gameweek 36. Draft number 4 is for the toughest situation. If you only have wildcard left and no free hit to cover Blank Gameweek 34, then you have to play more conservatively. In this draft, we take around 8 doublers in Double Gameweek 33, but we also keep players who will actually play in Gameweek 34. This means holding Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle and potentially Crystal Palace assets. You might not get a huge bench boost style double, but you will avoid getting destroyed in Blank Gameweek 34. And with 2 free transfers, you can still reach 9 players for Gameweek 34 without taking hits. If needed, you can take a -4 to field 10 or 11 players. To sum it up, if you have Wildcard, Bench Boost and Free Hit, Gameweek 32 is the perfect time. If you don't have Free Hit, keep Gameweek 34 players like Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle and Palace. Arsenal don't double in 33, but are still essential. That's it for today's Wildcard Guide. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe to Sportverse, and comment your chip strategy below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.